Hey everyone! Working on math at the mall today. So, the last page we completed yesterday was our organized list. So today we're going to start with least common multiple. So a least common multiple is the smallest number that two numbers both go into. So we're solving our riddle of what did the bird buy at the mall? So our first one for A is the least common multiple of 2 and 4. So down here, I set up a multiplication chart for you to help you guys solve these a little easier. So it's asking for the least common multiple that goes into both 2 and 4. So if we look at the 2s and we look at the 4s, we see that the first number is 2. 2 doesn't go into 4 though. Thanks, Mr. Fitz. So if we move over to the next number, we have 4. So 4 goes into both 2 and 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. So our answer for the first one for A, let's see if I can move this up, is 4. Okay. So this one is 4. That is an awful 4. I'm still trying to figure out how to draw on my computer. It's a learning process for me. Alright, so A is 4. So if we go down here to our 4s, we can put A make that an A. Alright, so our next letter is E, and E is asking for the least common multiple of 5 and 6. So if we go back to our multiplication chart, and we look at our 5s and our 6s, we're looking for the first number that'll go into both of them. So you see 5 doesn't go into 6, 10 doesn't go in, 15 doesn't go in, 20 doesn't go in, 25 doesn't go in, 30 does. So the least common multiple between 5 and 6 is 30. So if we go back to our other page, we're going to put 30 for E. Okay, that's going to have to be a 30 because I don't know why it likes to autocorrect everything I write. So if we go down here and we find 30, we see that 30 is E. So the next one wants the least common multiple of 3 and 4. If we go back to our multiplication chart, we're going to look at the 3 times table. And the 4 times table. So we see that 3 doesn't go into 4. Go to the next number, 6, doesn't go into 4. 9, doesn't go into 4. 12, does. 3 times 4 is 12. And with a lot of these numbers, you'll see that when you multiply them by each other, you will get their least common multiple. So we're going to go back up to this page, and 12 is also going to be an E. Okay. Next one is 4 and 5. So we have our 4 times table and our 5 times table. 4 doesn't go into 5. 8 doesn't go into 5. 12 doesn't go into 5. 16 doesn't go into 5. 20 goes into 5. 4 times 5 is 20. And 5 times 4 is 20. So 20 I don't know why my circles end up as boxes, but 20 is also E. Alright, so our next one is 6 and 9. So we have 6 and we have 9. Okay. 6 doesn't go into 9. 12 doesn't go into 9. 18 does go into 9. 6 times 3 is 18, and 9 times 2 is 18. So back up here, our least common multiple, we're going to write 18. And down here, 18 is also going to be E. So our next one is 5 and 3. So we have 5 times table and our 3 times table. 3 doesn't go into 5. 6 doesn't go into 5. 9 doesn't go into 5. 12 doesn't go into 5. 15 does. So the least common multiple between 3 and 5 is 15. So 15 is going to be an S. Okay. Our next one, 7 and 3. So 3 doesn't go into 7. 6 doesn't go into 7. 9 doesn't go into 7. 12 doesn't go into 7. 15 doesn't go into 7. 18 doesn't go into 7. 21 does go into 7. So the least common multiple between 3 and 7 is 21. So up here, we're going to write 21. Right. So down here, this is going to be T. Okay. Our next one is the least common multiple of 22 and 4. My multiplication chart does not go up. It only went up to 12. But the least common multiple of 22 and 4 is 44. No idea what that is. 22 times 2 is 44, and 4 times 11 is 44. I don't know if I can write this over here. Alright, so 44 is going to be a T. Okay, our next one is 16 and 3. And that is going to be 48. Okay, so down here 48 is also going to be T. Alright, our next one is 6 and 8. This one we can look up. So we have 6 and 8. So 6 doesn't go into 8. 12 doesn't go into 8. 18 doesn't go into 8. 24 does. 6 times 4 is 24, and 8 times 3 is 24. So up here we're going to write 24. And under 24 we're going to write a W. Okay. Our last one is 10 and 8. So we have 8 and we have 10. So 8 doesn't go into 10. 16 doesn't go into 10. 24 doesn't go into 10. 32 doesn't go into 10. 40 does go into both 10 and 8. 8 times 5 is 40, and 10 times 4 is 40. So under our last one, we're going to write 40. Hey, look at that. I finally made a circle. So the answer to the riddle of what did the bird buy at the mall is a sweet tweet. So the next one, page down, is all about adding fractions. So what we have to remember about adding and subtracting fractions is that they have to have a common denominator. So if you read the box at the bottom, it says remember to add or subtract mixed numbers with different denominators, you have to follow these 5 steps. So the example down here is 2 2/3 plus 1 3/4. And it says the first thing we need to do is change the mixed number to improper fractions. To change a mixed number to an improper fraction, you're going to multiply. I don't want to rotate that. I get bigger. Alright, so you're going to multiply the denominator, which is the bottom number, times the whole number. So we're going to multiply. This might give us a 6 if I can draw it. Okay, so 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So then you take that number, and which you stay the same as 3. So for the next one, we have 1 3/4. So we're going to multiply 4 times 1, which is 4. And then we're going to add 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. And then you put that over the denominator of 4. So the next step we need to do is we need to find the least common multiple for each denominator. So our denominators are 3 and 4. So we want the least common multiple of 3 and 4. If we go back to our chart and we look at the 3 and 4, the least common multiple is 12. So back here, we have 12. Okay. Next, we have to convert the fractions. So to convert a fraction, we have to figure out how many times 3 goes into our least common multiple, which is 12. So we said over here, 3 goes into 12 4 times. So back down here, we would multiply 3 times 4 That's supposed to be times 4. So if we multiplied the bottom times 4 to get 12, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So we would also multiply 8 times 4. And 8 times 4 is 32. Our other fraction is 7 over 4. And we need to get that over 12. So we have to figure out how many times 4 goes into 12. So if we go back to our multiplication chart, 4 goes into 12 3 times. So down here, we would multiply times 3. Cannot draw a 3. Alright, so that's a 3. So we're going to multiply 4 times 3 to get 12. So whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. And 7 times 3 is 21. Hi, Carmelo. So after we get both the fractions to have common denominators, we can add. So we have 32 over 12 plus 21 over 12. When you are adding and subtracting fractions, you keep the denominator. So these are all going to stay over 12. The only thing you're adding are the numerators. So the only thing we add is up here. So 32 plus 21 is 53. So our answer is 53 over 12. To change that back into a mixed number from an improper fraction, you divide 12 into 53. And 12 can go into 53 4 times without going over. If you need help, you can come back over here to your 12 times table and find what number goes in up to 53 without going over. When you're multiplying them, to convert them, yes, Carmelo, you do the same to the top that you do to the bottom. But when you add, you keep the denominators the same. So when you're converting them, you do it to this both. But when you add, you only add the numerators. The denominators are going to stay the same. So 12 times 4 is 48, which is as close to 53 you can get without going over. So we would then subtract 53 minus 48 to get 5. So after we have our 4 wholes of 12 over 12, we have 5 left. So our improper fraction changed to a mixed number would be 4 and 5/12. So next Monday, I'm going to start on this page and help you guys work through them. So if you guys have any questions, you can reach me on Google Hangouts or through email, or I can also help you answer questions next Monday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.